reiterates its condemnation of terrorist attacks, including 26/11 Mumbai and the Pathankot attacks. Quad also denounces the use of terrorist proxies. Foreign ministers of Japan, the US, Australia and India in a joint statement condemned unequivocally against terrorism and violent terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. We do know that the Quad meeting concluded just a few minutes ago. That was the first meeting of the day. It was chaired by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. It was attended by Australia and Japan's foreign ministers and, of course, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and they're all posing there in that photograph. They were talking about the situation in the Indo-Pacific, and also there was a focus on the constructive agenda implementation. And there were comments made about how going across to my colleague Siddhant Mishra, who joins us with all the latest details from that meet. Very good morning to you, Siddhant. Could you take us through the highlights and the significant statements made at the Quad meeting this morning?
Well, look, first of all, a Quad meeting taking place on the sidelines of G20 foreign ministers meeting is very significant. This group is majorly has been seen as a group against the Chinese aggression. B, there was no clarity on this meeting happening since the foreign minister of Japan had his own domestic compulsion, so he couldn't come for G20 meet. But in fact, late evening, we got this confirmation from Government of India saying that Quad meeting of foreign ministers is taking place in New Delhi. Now, in fact, this morning this meeting happened, and the joint statement has been released by the Government of India. And if we talk about the key takeaways in these meetings in terms of what India has managed to achieve in this meeting is the announcement of working group on counter-terrorism. So this is one big achievement as far as domain of counter-terrorism is concerned. And in fact, this working group is also going to meet next year in Washington. Then a joint statement has also condemned terrorist attack of 26/11 in Pathankot, and in fact it also says that the countries will work to promote accountability of perpetrators. So now this one line is significant because time and again we have seen that how terror outfits, their leaders are roaming scot-free in countries like Pakistan, and in fact when India pushes for sanction on them in UN, then China backs Pakistan. And sanctions couldn't come in place. So this one line is very important in terms of that. And then yes, Russia-Ukraine finds mentioning, and in fact the usage of nuclear weapon is inadmissible. That's written in the statement. Last but a very important takeaway is the threats of China's assertive and aggressive regional behavior in the Indo-Pacific region. So the name of Taiwan has not been mentioned. Taiwan state has not been mentioned anywhere in the joint statement. B, but the Chinese assertive and aggressive regional behavior in the Indo-Pacific region has been mentioned in a joint statement. So indeed a very successful meeting in terms of what India wanted to achieve, because counter-terrorism, narco-terrorism is an Indian domain, and India has been working closely with the other partners on these issues. So a working group has been set up. Then all these countries have assured for the cooperation and to make sure that perpetrators are held accountable. Then Chinese assertive aggression has also been mentioned in a joint statement. And yes, the Ukraine-Russia war has been mentioned, and then the usage of intercontinental ballistic missiles by North Korea also finds mentioning, and also the situation, the deteriorating internal situation of Myanmar has also finds mentioning in one of the paragraphs of the joint statement. Back to you.
Thank you for highlighting all those takeaways, Siddhant. Let's also listen in to what External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar had to say.
If I were to look at India's ties with the US, it became much deeper. With Japan also it grew, and I think the real big change has been in the last decade with Australia. So in a way, Quad is working in 2023, partly, as I said, because we have greater strategic clarity. I also think we have leaderships with a greater sense of purpose, who are less encumbered by baggage. But to me, a big difference is actually our inter-se relationship, which has today become so much more